What's up, guys? Today we talk about Dracula 2, the Ascension, which is part of the Wes Craven's version of Dracula. And this is, of course, the sequel. But let me just say, they say Rutger Hauer's in this movie. When I see this Dracula 2, this guy does not look nothing like Rutger Hauer, maybe like a younger version of Rutger Hauer. You know, even the voice doesn't sound like Rutger Hauer, so I don't know what's going on. It must be some really good Fountain Youth special makeup effects for this guy. But anyway, I don't know. There's a lot of hate for this movie. I can understand why. At the end of the day, I did enjoy it, but it was just like the origin, how they kind of skipped the ending from the first movie and it kind of changed it around for Dracula 2's ending. Like when Dracula died from the cross from the burning from the first movie, and of course at the ending from part one, he was stuck in this. He was in the silver coffin again, you know, as the lady being the keeper. In part two, okay, this is what they did in part two for his ending. First movie, he died in fighting the cross. Guess what? He was taken to the morgue. That's kind of weird, right? But well, you got a new cast of characters now. You got down in a wheelchair, his students, and his girlfriend spotted a vampire in the morgue. She touched the vampire teeth by mistake, and guess what? She got bit by the vampire. But she slowly will be affected by it. So they got a call for like getting paid like $30 million, or they give the bodies to this guy. Jason Scott Lee's character is pretty much a vampire hunter who's also affected by a vampire, but he was able to beat it by burning himself to sunlight, so the sun won't be fully affected. So he's like a half vampire, half human like. But meanwhile, you got like I said, you got the cast of characters. You got the students taking the body to a house, so the professor and the students can discover like the fountain of life, like immortality, how this guys came about. Then they put the dead body into the vampire blood, like blood of bath with blood. The vampire came to be alive, and they were able to stop the vampire with the help of this British guy who came out of nowhere with the sunlight. So they captured the vampire. They had to move the vampire to another house. That's when they started doing experiments and stuff. You got J. Scott Lee's character doing an investigation about where the body went to and trying to find what's going on. But pretty much they want to use the vampire blood, like I say, to regenerate the tissues, to cure, you know, like mortality and all that shit. You know, nothing new. But then you got people conflicting, you know, like, you know, you can't do this or you can't do that with one of the guys who knew what was going on. Like, come on, this guy's a vampire, we should kill it, but nah, they don't want to kill it. While the professor's girlfriend is slowly becoming the vampire, you know. They captured the vampire, you know, like they chained him up with several chains. The guy that didn't want to be part of it, but he's trying to make sure the vampire doesn't go out of control by putting beams around so he can count the beads that like vampire has a habit of it. Um, then you get to the fight scene when you're killing Gorsi when the black guy decided to inject himself with the vampire serum. He started killing the lady, and then Jason Scott Lee's character finally comes out in attack mode. Start killing the black vampire guy, and then killing the woman that been affected by the vampire guy. And he goes head to the house. Rock the house. Well, so-called Rock the House characters freed from the chains. You know, he bit the British. Oh yeah, before that there was a mystery when the woman actually injected the vampire blood, the guy's professor's girlfriend, and he's healing, and he became a vampire now, and he admitted his true intentions towards the girl, like what really went on. I don't want to spoil that part for you, but anyway, you got J.C. Scott Lee's character. After that, you know, we got the blood and gore, you got the fight scenes. Then you got J.C. Scott Lee's character appeared, find Dracula 101, and then Dracula was able to escape, and J. Scott Lee's character going after Dracula, and you get your ending when the woman was actually fully affected by the vampire. He stopped J. Scott Lee's character from killing Dracula, and then Dracula let him live for now, and then Dracula took the girl away, and they got the credits rolled up. Dracula 2, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. To me, the only problem with it was the end, was the beginning, how Dracula came about. Like, because they totally ignored the ending from the first movie, and I kind of hated that part too. But some people's considering this like before the silver coffin, before Dracula was back in his coffin, part one. People usually consider Dracula part two as a prequel to that scene, but then you also got yourself a part three, which is kind of more confusion, you know. But all in all, let's get to the next one, part